It's another beautiful morning. The sun is coming up over the horizon there. Bright and beautiful. Well, good morning, everybody. And guess what? Yeah, it is 5 minutes till noon. Yeah. Well, my husband got home late and he's got to go to work early. So it was just another mad scramble to get everything done, make sure he has clean work clothes, make sure he has dinner and all that kind of fun stuff. And so I now, because finally got my things done around the house here, I am going to scoot out and go to a grocery store and a couple other things that I need to get. And hopefully I can do it all like in 2.5 hours so that I can be back, because he's got to get up at 3:30 and I kind of like to be here because I know that, yeah, he's going to need some motivation to get him moving. I already have his coffee ready. All we have to do is click it on. But anyways, I'll talk to you in a little bit. Hello, everyone. I wanted to show you something that came in the mail. And yeah, some of you are going to think that I'm being silly. But you know what? I've learned that it's important to enjoy life. There is enough problems. Might as well enjoy and embrace what you want, right? So, hey, it's Mindy's Easter dress. Isn't it cute? I found this online at Petco, and with shipping, it was under $16. So I am just thrilled because, see, it's like a little sundress for her. And yes, it fits her just fine. I had her try it on, and I can see the little hairs because we also tried it on Missy. She hates clothes. Mindy gloats. Missy just thinks it's punishment. But yep, I thought it was really cute. But besides that, I went shopping today and I bought produce. And when my husband starts to work a lot of hours, like 12-hour days, and then it's really a 13-hour day by the time you get to work and get home. And to make things easier for him, because he tends to snack on all the wrong foods because he's too tired. He's not up to cutting up some broccoli or carrots or whatever. So I went to the store today and I got cauliflower and broccoli and different colored mini peppers. That's what I got. They're sweet peppers. They're not hot peppers, but they're little. And some raspberries and some blackberries and some cucumbers. And I am going to just cut them all up. And what I do is I just chop everything up and I put them in dishes, so it's all pre-prepped. And these are just little Pyrex dishes that I use. And it tends to keep them really nice for at least 10 days. So that's what I do. And lots of times what I'll do is I have what's called a mandolin, and no, it's not a musical instrument. It is a way of cutting your vegetables, especially cucumbers and carrots, just to make them a little bit easier for you, a quicker way of doing it. So I'm going to be using this. I'm going to try it with my peppers. I think that it'll work, to just, and they'll be in rings, hopefully. But anyways, I thought maybe you would like to join me with some of this, and I got to wash these though, and I'll check back with you in just a few minutes. When it comes to a mandolin, you have to be very careful, because typically they give you something that looks like this, and it has pins to it that you're to put down onto your vegetable and go back and forth with it like this to protect your fingers. But you can't do that with little mini cucumbers. And you can't do that with little mini peppers. So you just have to be extremely careful because these blades are sharper. It seems to appear to be sharper than even some knives. So you do have to be extremely careful. But as you can see, I did a few, and you can pick your thickness from 1/4 inch to 3/16 to 1/8 to 1/16. And I'm actually doing mine at 1/4 inch for the cucumbers. So what I do is I just quickly take the little tip off and then, you know, toss that aside, and I just go back and forth. And it goes very, very quick. But like again, you have to be very careful that you do not allow your fingers to get down there because you'll be going to the emergency room. But as you can see, it was very quick to do a cucumber. And I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my cucumbers. I will probably make some a little bit thinner, but for the most part, I'm just going to leave it as it is, and I will get back with you. Now, for my little peppers, what I need to do is I cut off the top and discard that, and then I just take a small paring knife and go around because that'll just fall right out. And then you can just go ahead and do what you did with the what I did with the cucumbers. Just go back and forth, and it'll just make little circles. Just little circles. And I'll just continue doing that with my peppers. And now all I'm doing is going to be cutting up my cauliflower and putting it in a dish also. And you have to use a knife with this. The only way you could ever use your mandolin would be as if you wanted to make cauliflower rice. But if you want to make cauliflower rice, it does an excellent job of breaking that all up so that it comes out the size you want it to be. But I'm just going to finish cutting up the rest of this, and then I'm going to move on to my broccoli, and I believe I'll be done because I've already done my blackberries, and I've already done my raspberries. So I'll show you what it all's like when I'm done. So here is the food. I have the blackberries, the raspberries. We have the peppers and the cucumbers, the broccoli and the cauliflower, and then we have the carrots and the celery. Unfortunately, I did not have any more glass containers, so I had to use plastic. I have ordered more, but they're not in. I found a really good buy online, so I ordered them online because they were Pyrex and they were under $3, so I just have to wait for them to come in, and I'll have to use plastic until then, right? Hope this helps somebody. Good evening, everyone. I hope everybody had a very nice day, and our day started out absolutely gorgeous as I showed you the sunrise. Excuse me. And by the time my husband left for work, it was snowing. Yeah. So the forecast here says that we could get as low as 4 degrees in a couple days, and there could be a couple inches of snow over the weekend. Not really looking forward to that, but you know what? It's all good because spring is still going to come. As much as it might get cold this weekend, spring is still going to come. And tonight, I want to continue our study in Philippians. But before I read our verse, there's just a couple points I want to make. And that is, every Christian, we all pray for those that we love and care about. Yet, it's easy to fall into a pattern of praying for temporal things in our loved ones' lives and in our own lives. For health, for a better place to live, in selecting a college for our child, or seeking a job, safety for the day, even for the daily things in our life, like our children to nap well, or to help us find a bargain, which all these things we should feel free to be able to ask our Father for. And it's not wrong. We should be asking for all those things. But the Apostle Paul shows us a more significant way to pray for those that we know and love. So as I read our verses today, let's ponder the content of Paul's prayer for his beloved friends, keeping in mind the situation that Paul is still in as a prisoner waiting for a verdict. So in Philippians chapter 1, verses 9 to 11, "And this I pray, that your love may abound still more and more in knowledge and all discernment, that you may approve the things that are excellent, that you may be sincere and without offense until the day of Christ, being filled with the fruits of righteousness, which are by Jesus Christ, to the glory and praise of God." Now, I want you to picture the Apostle Paul in a modern day Bible study. And the teacher begins the Bible study by asking the people for prayer requests. And someone might say, "My aunt is traveling. Please pray for traveling mercies." Someone else says, "My friend is enduring a stressful family situation. Please pray for them." Another may say, "My mother is scheduled for surgery in a week, and I could really use the church's prayers for her." Then Paul's hand goes up, and the teacher calls on Paul, and he says, "Would the church please pray that everyone would discern how they could show Christ's love to others more? And also pray that everyone in the church would forfeit doing good things in order to do the best." Oh, and one more thing. Please pray that everyone would be filled with the fruit of righteousness that comes through Christ for the glory of God. Can you see how different Paul prayed and how we often pray? Yes, we are to pray for the physical needs. We are to quickly pray for all the needs of fellow believers. But sometimes we tend to forget about the most important needs, and that's the spiritual needs. So now I would like to take Paul's prayer that we read in Philippians chapter 1, verses 9 to 11, and use it as a model for our own Christian growth and maturity. Remember, of all the things he could have prayed for, he prayed for these three things. First, an increasing love. We find that in verse 9. "And it is my prayer that your love may abound more and more with knowledge and all discernment." Paul actually is giving us the characteristics of the love that we are to develop and exhibit as believers. And that is, our love should be increasing, not decreasing. And that love should be governed by knowledge and discernment. Second, and increasing discernment. Verse 10, that you may approve the things that are excellent, that you may be sincere without offense until the day of Christ. If we are to mature as believers, we have to get past only discerning what is right and wrong. And we need to start to discern what is best and what is right. If we really desire spiritual growth, we need to get past looking at sinning or not sinning. And I'm not downplaying the struggle we all have with sin. However, what if our choice wasn't about just what was right or wrong, but what if our choice was between what is good and what is best? Can you see how that might help us develop spiritual growth and maturity? What if we begin to pray, Lord, keep me from sin and temptation and show me what is most excellent? And then third, we are to have an ever increasing fruit. In verse 11, filled with the fruit of righteousness that comes through Jesus Christ to the glory and praise of God. Just as the health of a tree can be discerned by the quality of its fruit, the health of a Christian can be seen as the spiritual fruit is produced. We must remember that this will only happen if we are serious about the things of God. So, how is the fruit of righteousness produced? He tells us very plainly that it is produced through Jesus Christ. As Christ increasingly loved and obeyed, we will begin to produce the fruit of righteousness. Just like a healthy tree's fruit comes as a result of the proper nutrition and rain and sunshine, our fruit is likewise produced as we concern ourselves with the proper things. And a healthy tree doesn't try to produce fruit. It just does. As long as it has good soil and the right amount of rain and sunshine, it's free of disease and it will produce fruit. As Christians, the same is true for us. If we focus on having an increasing love for Christ and for others, if we are willing to be diligent in studying the scriptures, discerning the mind of Christ, and filling our life with what matters most, then we will find that the fruit of righteousness will begin to form on our branches. The other vital part to this is to understand that we, like the Philippian believers, are unable to accomplish any of this apart from Christ and God's enablement. Paul wasn't praying that God would help them accomplish these things, but that God would cause these things to happen within them. In conclusion, we too should have the same passions. We should treasure the same things that the apostle treasured to bring glory to Christ. And with that, I want to remind you, life happens. Let's enjoy it. And if we are willing to spend hours on end learning to play an instrument or how to operate a computer or train for a competition, it would be nonsense for us to think that we can learn and grow in Christ without getting guidance through communion with the Lord and willing to set time aside for prayer. It's no accident that the Bible speaks of prayer as a form of waiting on God. Good night, and God bless.